Hello, this is your next set of notes for factor sheet 4 through 7. So the first thing, multiplying polynomials. So here we have two binomials because there's two terms right here. So x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 6 times x is 6x. And 6 times 4 is 24. Then we can combine these to give you x squared plus 10x plus 24. X minus 2 times x minus 3. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times a negative 3 is a positive 6. So it gives you x squared minus 5x plus 6. And then we have a binomial, 2 terms, times a trinomial, 3 terms. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 3x is 3x squared. And x times 7 is 7x. We're going to go back through and multiply all these by 2. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x. And 2 times 7 is 14. Combine my like terms. I have x cubed plus 5x squared plus 13x plus 14. This is something you've done before. Should be pretty good at it. Flipping over, looking at the information that's going to be on sheet 5. Here we're going to be breaking a trinomial into a product of binomial factors. So we're working backwards with what you just did. Alright, so x squared plus 9x plus 20. So that's what we're going to factor right here. We want to make rectangles with areas of 20. That's our last term, and we want them to add up to give us 9. Alright, so if I've got 20 Cheerios, five, 10, 13, 14, 15. Alright, so I could make a long rectangle that is 1 by 20. They're not wanting to cooperate. So that could be a side length pairs. I could make a rectangle that is 2 by 10. Or I could make a rectangle that is 5 by 4. So those are the different rectangles that I could make that all have an area of 20. I'm going to write it at 4 and 5. Okay, then I want to look at these pairs and I want to see which one of these add up to give me my middle number. Well, that's going to be 4 and 5. So I can factor this trinomial into binomial factors by having x plus 4 and x plus 5. Okay, that's where these numbers came from right here. Alright, so x squared plus 7x plus 10. So if I'm only looking at rectangles that are 10 Cheerios, I could have 2 by 5. I could have 1 by 10. And if I'm looking for them to add up to be this, then I know it has to be 2 and 5. So that's going to factor to give me x plus 2 and x plus 5. Another way of factoring is to find two numbers that will multiply together to give you the top number, and the top number is coming from right here, and add to give us this middle number. So if we think about 10, numbers that multiply to give us 10 and add to give us 7 are 2 and 5. And so then we have x plus 2, x plus 5. So same thing right down here. We've got numbers that multiply to give us 10 and add to give us 11. So that's 10 and 1. So this would factor be x plus 10 and x plus 1. 6 and negative 5. Alright, well I know if this is positive, if they are multiplying to give me a positive number right here, then they have to be the same sign. So they both have to be positive or negative. And if they're adding to give me a negative, then they're both negative. So the numbers that multiply to give me positive 6 and add to give me negative 5 are a negative 2 and a negative 3. So my factors here are x minus 2 and x minus 3. The reason this works, okay, so if I'm looking at x squared minus 5x plus 6, just kind of the reason this sheet number 5 works this way, is that I could split this into x squared minus, and I'm splitting this negative 5 up with these numbers, so I can have a minus 2x and minus 3x plus 6. And then I want to factor both of these groups. So if I'm looking at x squared minus 2x, the common factor there is an x, so if I factor that out, I'd have x minus 2 left. Negative 3x plus 6. I can factor out a negative 3. If I take a negative 3 out, then I have x minus 2. Then I can see that these both have a factor of x minus 2. And what I have left is this x minus 3. That is why this works, why these turn out to be this right here. Take a little bit of a break from this and go back to multiplying polynomials. So x plus 6 times x minus 4. And you may notice here that they are different signs inside. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 4 is a negative 24. So be careful whenever you're combining these. So you get x squared, negative 4x, and a positive 6x is a positive 2x minus 24. X minus 2 times x plus 3. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. X plus 2 times x squared minus 3x plus 7. So x times x is, I didn't finish this one, I apologize. So x squared, 3x minus 2x is a positive x minus 6. Right here, x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 3x is negative 3x squared, and x times 7 is 7x. Then multiplying everything by 2, so 2x squared. 2x times negative 3x is a negative 6x, and 2 times 7 is a positive 14. Then combining my like terms, I get an x cubed minus x squared plus x plus 14. Alright, back to factoring for sheet 7. X squared plus x minus 20. Okay, so here I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give me negative 20 and add to give me a positive 1. If there's not a number out in front, it's understood to be 1. Now here, this is negative, so that means that my factors are going to be opposite signs. So one is positive, one is negative. This number right here is positive, so that means that my larger number is positive. So separate signs, and my larger number is positive. Numbers that could give me negative 20 would be negative 4 and a positive 5. So that means my factors are x minus 4 and x plus 5. And you can always multiply these back out to check your answers. Negative 10 and negative 3. Numbers that multiply to give me negative 10 and add to give me negative 3 be a negative 5 and a positive 2. So x minus 5 and x plus 2. X squared plus 9x minus 10. Numbers that multiply to give me negative 10 and add to give me positive 9. So this is going to give me a positive 10 and a negative 1. So x plus 10 and x minus 1. Negative 6 and a negative 1. That's going to give me a negative 3 and a positive 2. So x minus 3 and x plus 2.